I'm going to tell you about an event that, I came this close to walking away from the business entirely. This event sent me over the edge. This was 11 years ago. This is Mike, the Caesar of concessions, back with another video for you today. All right. Timeline. We are in year 3 of our business when this story takes place, and things are absolutely horrible from a financial standpoint. It's dreadful. We signed up for a county fair that is about 150 miles away from where I live. And we signed up for it, months in advance. And I actually talked to the coordinator, and they tell me that I can only bring lemonade because I already have another kettle corn vendor, which is great. And he said there will be no other lemonade vendors there but us. Fantastic. Sign me up. Let's go. So we do it. We also book a motel at the cheapest one I could find in that town. And so we are great. So when time comes near, we get all the stuff we need for the event. And most events, well, pretty much every event at this point in our business venture, we had to put everything into. And so we are living event to event. That is a horrible way to live, my friends, let me tell you. But that's what we did. So in this event, we pretty much put every dollar we had into it. And we load up the kids. Chrissy stayed home with my 2 youngest, and me and 3 of the boys load up the trailer and our very old, broken down, rusted up minivan, and headed off to do a job about 150 miles away. So we rent the hotel for about 5 days. The event, the county fair, is 4 days long. I think we're going to do pretty good in this event anyway, is what I think, as we're headed out. Well, we're going down a highway, and the brakes stop responding. And it's really scary because I have my whole livelihood in the trailer. I have my kids in the minivan and myself. Everything we pretty much own or love is in the minivan, and we have no brakes going down the highway. So yeah, I'm freaking out a little bit. I was about to pull over and just call somebody to come and get us and say, forget it. But I noticed an O'Reilly sign sticking up off the entrance ramp coming up. So I was like, you know what? Let's just pull in there. So we put the emergency brake on, and I just slowly creep up to the O'Reillys. I get in there, and I know nothing about cars. I know absolutely nothing about cars. So I go into the O'Reillys. I basically plead and talk to someone there and let them know what's happening in my life, and that this horrible tragedy has befallen me. And he's nice enough to come out, tells me to pop the hood, looks at the brake fluid, and we are out of brake fluid, which means he tells me we have a leak, and tells me to buy some brake fluid and turn around and get back home. And I can't do that, really, honestly. We got this job to do. We put pretty much everything into it. So we fill it up with brake fluid. I buy a few extra. I give the gentleman a few extra bucks, really all I could spare, and we head out. And we pull up to the motel at this little podunk town, and it is the dirtiest, trashiest motel you'd ever want to see. We check in. We put the stuff in, and there's bugs in there. The motel just smells horrible. The bathrooms aren't really clean. It's a mess. But we soldier on. We put our stuff down, and we head out to set up at the county fair. The event is actually the next day, but we can set up that evening, which is what we did. So we're out there setting up, and other vendors are setting up as well. And that setup went fine. We got everything set up properly. Got the tent staked down, tied around some weights, and we dropped the tent. We are good to go. And we head back to the hotel, and we eat bologna and cheese or whatever that night. And me and the boys play cards. But there's only 2 beds. I got 4 boys, so they're fighting all night about who's going to sleep on the floor. No one wants to sleep with Dad. So a couple of boys end up sleeping on the floor. The boys don't want to sleep with each other on the bed. Who's going to get the bed? Who's going to sleep on the floor? It was a big kerfuffle. We ended up getting it figured out. So, two of the boys slept on the floor. We're going to do some kind of rotation of who gets a bed and who gets a floor over the next few days. That did not work out. But anyway, we go back the next day, and someone drove by and actually got hooked up in one of our bungee cords that were holding down the tent, and they dragged the tent about 40 feet away from where our location was. The tent was all mangled. It was destroyed pretty much. And I lost my ever-loving mind. Started throwing equipment. I was so mad. I was like, that's it. Forget it. We're going home. This is a sign that we are not supposed to be here. Already had the brakes. Already had this. This is a horrible situation. We get the tent. The boys talked me off the ledge. We used duct tape. Thankfully, I had some, and so did some other vendors that were nice enough to kind of help us like get this tent somewhat manageable, just to kind of look like a tent. And we kind of put our equipment back together. Oh my God, wait till you hear the rest of this. This story is brought to you, thankfully, by kettlecornmachine.com. They sponsor our content. They have the best equipment in the market, hands down. Check out kettlecornmachine.com for the best equipment in the marketplace. Okay. Well, we get the tent kind of set up, and sales were actually really good. No one has ever seen fresh squeezed lemonade with fruit in it before at this event. They always get country time or some kind of fresh squeezed lemonade with syrup put in. They've never seen fruit in a lemonade before. They're out of their minds. They love it. And we do really well on that first night. Come back the next day, ready to do another great day, and someone stole our lemonade squeezers, right? Why they stole those, I don't know. So thankfully, this town had a grocery store, and it literally had the kind of lemonade hand juicers that were used. So I bought a couple of those, and we're back in business. And we do like really well at the event. And when it was all said and done, the event went well. Despite no brakes on the highway, despite this trashy motel, despite all these other situations that occurred, the event went well. And it's something I think we can learn from on this, is that, number one, even though situations sometimes look dire when you're doing a job, I'm so thankful my kids talked me off the ledge and we did the job, because it was what we needed at the time financially. It was absolutely wonderful that it worked out the way it did. We have a story that we talk about all the time. For some reason, this story gets brought up a few times a year. We can laugh and talk about it. I have a mentorship group that you pay $2 a month for. We do workshops together in voice chat in our Discord. It is absolutely great. You can do one-on-one mentorship with me, and you get exclusive videos that the public doesn't see. All this for $2 a month. Consider joining my membership team. This is Mike, the Caesar of Concessions, out.